right. Today we're going to talk about obstacles in the workplace and how we handle those. And I'm Caitlin.
I'm Lacey.
And this is Women in the Trailer Industry. All right. So, Lacey, your life's been a little bit hectic lately. You've moved over to the VP of Sales and Revenue position. Have been trying to juggle that and the e-commerce team. And the back end NetSuite, and how's that going
All
for
the
you?
things.
Yeah, basically.
It's going. So just trying to figure out how it's all going to flow and work right now. I feel like by day I'm over the sales team, and by 9 I'm over the e-com team,
Yeah.
so because that's more of what I can do when I'm home after hours. But I have a staff member that just had a baby yesterday, JC. So congratulations on your new baby girl. I can't wait to meet her, but we definitely miss you. We're waiting for you to come back. I am
Absolutely.
for sure already, even though, enjoy your motherhood and maternity leave, but I'm not saying anything, but just hurry.
I know. I was typing my message in Slack and like tears were in my eyes. Like, we will miss you, JC.
Yes, I know.
Minor meltdown, but we'll be okay.
Seriously, we're figuring it out as we can, but that's just how it goes. But so we're it's kind of hectic right now. I'm not gonna lie, trying to figure out the sales team and what resources I need to give them, and try to be in there most of the time so I can be in on the day-to-day happenings, and then also trying to keep up with our e-com side because as you know, that never stops. There's always something we need to be doing, listing, optimizing, getting better with. So obstacles, definitely. I'm working through them one at a time. I think that's the best you can do. Use your team, delegate wisely, and get as much done as you can. So I'm working through it, but it is hectic.
Well, for sure. Not only that, but you're also working with how, to become a sales manager yourself and laying out that role. So you've got a lot on your plate,
A lot of building it's going in right now. And I feel like once I was saying to myself the other day, if I could just, I'm going to get this all streamlined. And once I get there and have a sales manager and have my e-com team fully here and going, I feel like I'm going to be able to kind of like, I don't know, like execute the bigger picture plans that I have. Right now, we're trying to just get it done every day, but I feel like I can refocus at that point. So,
yep, absolutely. And, we'll kind of implement this when we get into EOS, and we'll explain what that is in another episode. But what I feel like you could do there is start with what your big picture will be.
Right.
And then break down all the different steps you're going to get there, who you're going to put in those places, and figure out really, how you're going to make that happen and make it all flow. And when it's written, it will definitely seem a lot less chaotic than it probably does in your head right now. So,
well, and I think another thing too that I'm thinking about is like, when is a good time to prioritize putting that in motion? And I think that's just going to be like, no, you just need to get that done because, if you're taking your time to do something like that, that's going to be better for the big picture. You're automatically thinking like, no, I have this and this deadline to do, and this has to get done like today. And so then you're like, when do I do this? But I think a good thing to remember is that's the most important thing for us to achieve what we want to in the big picture. So that needs to be priority.
Yes. And be working all in one direction, especially with your new teams. You have a lot of different plates going on there. So, an obstacle I recently faced lately is, just pressure points of a business and how to manage all of those and how to tackle them. So, it does take a lot of sleepless nights sometimes and trying to figure out, well, what's the issue? What's the problem? And then you have those, brainstorm moments or aha moments where you Google something and you're like, now I understand what the problem is.
Yeah, it all clicks together.
So revelation last night, which was great, but definitely just tackle each problem one step at a time.
Yeah.
Figure out what the problems are, figure out the root of the problem, and then figure out the solutions of those problems will really help.
Sure.
Just break it all down and not seem like a cluster in your head. Cause I don't know, 2 days ago, I was like personal finances, my own personal business finances, and this business finances. My head was going to explode. I'm like, I don't want to do finances anymore, but I got over it and figured out the problems between all of them. So
And this is crazy too, that it's just like that's life, is especially if you're you are over the whole company. So
mhm,
you're not only thinking about the company's finances and how you're going to keep everybody in their job and how we're going to be successful and grow. And of course you have a team behind you, but
mhm,
you're kind of the mastermind behind that. But then you also have your own businesses and your
mhm.
own finances and everybody does, right? Even
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what position you're in, you have to worry about those two things. How do you get your job done correctly and efficiently, and also worry about your own
Mhm.
finances and your own home life and your own everything that's going on there too. So it's definitely a life juggle, but I think it's challenging, and especially when you have those breakthrough moments. I mean, tell us what did it feel like whenever you had that breakthrough moment last night, when you're just like, "Oh my gosh, I figured out at least what our issue is so that we can try
Mhm.
to determine what our solution's going to be."
Well, it felt like I could sleep again and not have to worry about everyone's problems on my shoulders. But, you know, it kind of just enlightened me to how resourceful Google can be and,
Yeah.
break down those problems and figure out where it stems from and then research around that. And, there's tons of experience in the world that probably have had the same issues
Right.
before. So they could definitely help. And that goes back to our mentor and resource
For sure.
conversation. So definitely use those resources available to you.
Yeah. I think there's a book that you've been pushing for all of us to read, especially like management to read. What's that book called?
Traction.
And who wrote it?
Oh
Do you remember
God.
who wrote it?
No.
I think you can just Amazon it or Google it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Per key for Jen someone. We don't know though.
we don't know. But just Google it. It'll come up the first thing if you just
Yep.
type in traction. But it's a really good one that we've been reading and going through. And I think chapter 2 is what we've been highlighting. But it has really good resources. And
Yep. And on this podcast, we talk about business and life. And as structured as it seems, it's almost good to think about one's life as a business, especially when it comes to your finances,
yes,
depending there's two ways to tackle finances: make more income or constrict expenses. Which way do you want? And then lay out the game plan to make those happen, to make
yeah,
life less stressful. Because when you do write it down and get all the thoughts out of your head, it's almost an epiphany moment, because
for
it's
sure.
just everything seems a lot more clear. So, a little life advice there. Especially on the finances side, definitely take those actions to help clear your brain,
Mhm.
so you can function again.
And I think it's important, like you keep saying, write it down, but it is important to not just have it all held in your head, because while you think you have it all planned out, it's easier to follow a structured guideline that you've kind of made for yourself. And everybody finds ourselves, we all want to make more money, right? But
Hmm.
everybody finds ourselves in the point where you are working, 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 you get your pay increase or whatever it is, and you're making more money, but then you're working, working, working. In all those steps, you're having to figure out how to budget, what you're going to allot for your extracurricular activities or whatever it is for your family. So you always need to have that plan. Who's that famous financial advisor that? Oh gosh, he has
Dave
Dave
Ramsey.
Ramsey. Yeah. So I'm just like, be your own Dave Ramsey a little
Yeah.
bit and just plan it out. Everybody experiences this no matter where you're at. I mean, even people who have a ton of money have to figure out where their
Hmm.
expenses are going so they're not just wasting,
Yep.
you know.
Absolutely. Yep. So I think we're really tackling the obstacles issue
Yeah.
and brainstorming with each other how to figure out the issues we have going on, and then really working through those and seeking out our mentors and
Mhm.
figuring out people who have experienced it and who have helped, to really lead us along the way.
For sure. And I mean, also, it's okay to reach out if it's in your financial means as a company or individual to get outside help, who people that specialize. So we talked about
Hmm.
EOS. We're going to be discussing this in more detail, but to reach out to those advisors that's all they do, and so they
Right.
can give you true direction so we know what we think we need to do. But sometimes an outside view looking in can give you a different perspective, not just on finances but on structure, growth,
Yep.
plans that you want to initiate, and everything that goes into that, both business and personally. So
Yep. And I think that'll help on a lot of the strategic planning aspect,
for sure.
because for us, we do all the things. We're making it happen, making it go, go, go.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that go, go, go mentality, as good as it is, puts a lot of burden on a lot of people, because there's no are these the actual steps to get there? Or are we
Right.
just doing a whole bunch of things? Because sometimes
Yeah.
I feel like it's both. But
And a lot of times we are spinning our wheels.
yeah,
I mean,
they're just keep spinning, and that could drive someone crazy. So that what's that? The definition of insanity is to keep doing the same thing, right?
For sure.
And expecting different results. So definitely making those steps, how to get out of that. What is that called? A rat wheel?
A mouse wheel?
Mouse wheel? The
Same
rat
thing.
race, whatever. And
hamster wheel.
Yeah,
That's what
hamster
it is.
wheel.
Bear with us. We're working through our obstacle
loading,
here.
loading.
Buffering.
To work through that and just find out, start with the root cause, work through it, figure out what the obstacle is, and just find the solution to it.
Mm-hmm. And I think we've been on like the same obstacle for this whole year, trying to figure out how do we grow in a profitable manner. And it's okay to have the same obstacle that you're working through. You're not going to just figure out your obstacle and then be like, oh, how do we fix this? And boom, you have an answer. It's not always going to work that way. So sometimes it could take time, but if you keep working at it and like, Caitlin's at home thinking about it at night every night, not being able to sleep until she's figuring it out. But I mean, I feel like we're all invested in that way. But just keep working at it. If you are always focused on it and not letting it consume you, I'm not saying that, but be focused on how you can find your solution. It'll come to you, and just as long as you're resourcing and researching. So
And so to wrap it up, just be sure when you're facing an obstacle to lay out what the obstacle is, figure out what the cause of that, and then just write out solutions and steps you can take to get out of it, and then go from there. And
make a plan and put it down on paper or whatever you're putting it on, and then execute. Go after it.
Well, that's all we have today. We thank you for joining us.
For sure.
We hope you subscribe and like anywhere you watch your podcast and on YouTube. So watch your podcast, listen to your podcast, and
or watch your YouTube.
And watch your YouTube. And we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Adios.